I got to ask you because it's kind of funny now, I guess.
Yep.
When
Yep.
you got arrested,
Yes.
because then you came on set and Jensen had you in shackles walking on set. They were going to get jumpsuits, orange jumpsuits for the whole crew, but they
Yes.
couldn't get them in time.
Yes.
Look, I've always known you're like, you're one of those guys. You always have someone's back. You always have, you're a boy. You're a,
Yeah.
you have fun. You get a huge heart. You're loving. But someone pisses you off, or you get a little rowdy, right?
Sure. Sure.
So
Yeah.
what happened? I don't even know what happened.
This is not an excuse. I don't entirely know what happened either, other than reading the reports. And
Did you believe the reports?
I have to. Yeah. Yeah. I have to. Long story short, the cliff notes are we were filming in Vancouver, and we flew. I think we filmed till like 5 or 6 a.m. and flew to Austin, and we had a double date that night. Jen and I had a double date with our buddies Walker and Sandy. Shout out Walker and Sandy. And went to dinner, and I hadn't slept. I hadn't had anything to eat. It's now like 8 p.m. And we had a friend who had opened up a bar, and it was the weekend before Halloween. So it's like when everybody gets dressed up. And so we went to a buddy's. So we had dinner, and we all split a bottle of wine, had a cocktail. At this point in time, I haven't eaten, I haven't slept, and I think I was a little bit more affected than I maybe wanted to admit. And so we walked down the block and went to a buddy who had opened up a new bar. And I own a few bars in Austin, and the community of bar owners is kind of small. You see each other and like, hey, welcome. Like, how do you like my new place? And we had gone, and we get there, and the owner is like, hey, welcome. How do you like it? And there were a couple bachelorette parties, and they were fans of the show. And they're like, let's buy you a drink and this and that. And I think I had too much to drink and too little to eat and sleep. And I legitimately don't recall what happened other than what I've seen in the video. But I think what happened, having seen in the video, I think what happened is I just was blacked out, didn't know what was going on. And I think I saw me get pulled down by my hair in the video. And then I thought I was in a fight. Jensen and I got jumped season 1 outside of
I remember that
Brown on Richards. And I think my head must have, I haven't had a drink since. I was sort of like, okay, I'm going to go ahead and put this away because that is not who I am. Anybody who knows me knows that's the absolute opposite. If somebody's going to hurt my child, obviously I'm going to protect them. I don't know what happened that night.
Well, it's not like you get in fights every month. This is like, 2 in 20 years.
No. This is not like, it was very humbling. I guess I never really talked about it. It was very humbling to go, that's like, I judge these people who I read about, like, blah, 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 gets into a bar fight. I'm like, what an idiot. You're a celebrity. Like, what's wrong with you? Don't take drinks from people you don't know. And I was like, whoa, I just took drinks from somebody I don't know. And I don't know if I was drugged or whatever, but I completely, I don't recall what happened other than what I read in the police reports. Yeah, it's pretty humbling, man. It's pretty,
so you haven't had a drink since?
No.
And do people, like, you always think about that if something happens, I mean, I'm sure people would probably come after you for money, right?
You would think. So here's a worse part of the story is I knew the guys. It was my bar. I knew them, and so luckily they were like, okay, I don't know what the fuck just happened, but that's not Jared. We know him well enough to know that, like, maybe he was drugged or something. And so I talked with them, and thank God they were like, hey man, like, that was really messed up, but we know that's not you. We've known you for plenty long. We've known friends of you. We've known people who just randomly ran into you in the street you were really kind to. So we know that's nothing to do with who you are as a human being. And, we're good. So I guess that's a blessing.
Yeah. So it happened at your bar.
Of course, I guess that's a blessing. That's a huge blessing that I'm not that guy.
Well, you're amongst people who know you, who knew you and know you're not that guy. And for all these years you haven't been. So it happened in front of people as embarrassing as it might have been, at least they could say, that's not him. I know that.
Like, what in the world happened,
this is just not him. I've seen that before. I've seen that with like somebody like, you think about things like, you're like, no, I don't believe that. That's not that guy. It's just never happened. I've never seen.
It was surreal. I ended up seeing security footage because I had to watch it.
Was it hard to watch?
Yeah, really hard to watch because you're watching it and you're like, that's me. And you don't see what you're doing. And that's why I was like, I'm never going there again. I'm never risking going there again. And I don't do drugs. I obviously enjoyed wine and stuff like that, but I was like, I've never been to a point where you're literally seeing yourself on a screen. You know, obviously, if you're acting and you see an episode of Gilmore Girls Supernatural, you're like, oh, yeah, I remember memorizing those lines. I remember blocking. But you see yourself at 1 a.m. or whatever outside of a bar on a security footage. You're like, no, that doesn't, it's almost like Twilight Zone.
Well, you had to be drugged.
I'm not an excuse kind of guy. Like, I hate excuses. My dad was very much like, you know, oh, Dad, I didn't have time. What'd you do between 1 a.m. and 5 a.m.? I slept. So you did have time. Like, I'm a no excuses kind of guy. Right. I don't like that excuse, but that's never happened to me. You know, I didn't drink. I've had more to drink and not blacked out. And I don't know what happened. I broke my own rule of like, and I tell Genevieve, and we have a daughter, and I'm like, you know, never take a drink somebody pours for you. And that night, for whatever reason, I was like, oh, thanks. It's a bachelorette party. It's my friend's bar. Like, nothing could have happened.
And by the way, this is what I'm thinking. I'm not just saying this as a friend, but especially if you're at a place where it's yours and it's all people you know, and it's not like you're at some random place where there's nobody you know. Yeah. If you were more aware of what was going on, you wouldn't have done that. If you had any kind of, you know, that's whatever. Yeah, whatever
happened, I still it's definitely informed my life since then. You know, that was 10 months ago. And, you know, I just was like, I'm going to stop drinking. So I stopped, and I've been talking to my psychiatrist a lot about it and where it might've stemmed from and what might've happened outside of whatever may have been poured in anything I had to drink or eat.
Well, I'm glad. I'm glad
I hit panic mode. I thought I was getting attacked. You know, I thought I was getting shoved and pushed. And I think this is wild ass guess. Like, again, I'm not proud of it, but I don't remember it.